Hello and welcome back to episode 5 of Believe It or Not. So this is the show where Esther and we talk about a number of woke things that have been in the news, in the media, and talk about the enormity and the ridiculousness of those woke things, except not all of them are true. And you've got to try and guess, or rather Esther will, and I'm sure you'll be supporting her along in the comments, which are true and which are not. So, are you ready?
I am ready.
And by the way, I've got to add, you haven't got it right yet. We're episode 5.
I'm waiting. The day I get it right, I kid you not, I will be asking for a Birkin.
Okay. Well, should we put the champagne on ice?
Okay.
Maybe deep down in the freezer based on your past performance.
Oh wow, your confidence in me is so inspiring.
Right,
Thank you.
So I've got 6.
Okay.
Right. So I've got 6 today.
Okay.
One of them, just one, is not true.
Okay.
So let's see if you can work out which one's which.
Okay,
And
cool.
Esther genuinely doesn't know, by the way. So
Yeah.
we turn up at our wonderful, illustrious studios in the middle of Hollywood here in Lincolnshire, and we set to work, kind of preparing for this. And I literally sit there and go through my 6 away from Esther, so she doesn't know. So there's no cheating. She generally doesn't know. So
Okay.
when she messes up, she really has messed up. Okay, ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Chicago University, Illinois, United States.
Chicago University in Illinois.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they want to ban the word obesity from all of their correspondence and all of their output, but not because they think it's fattest, which of course the word itself isn't, but because it's racist. Shall I join the dots?
Is it why?
Because what they're saying is that black people apparently have more of a propensity to be overweight, and therefore by coining and criticising obesity, you are apparently by default somehow being racist, because that generally applies more to black people than it does to white people.
I mean, statistically,
Go
statistically, African Americans are more overweight than the rest of the population. I mean, we're like half of the population are overweight / pushing obese. Like, I think 2/3 of the black people. I get that, but that's quite a jump from associating obesity. Like, isn't that in and of itself racist?
What to say that everything's racist?
No,
well,
to associate to ban a word because they associate it with black people. So they're assuming everyone that says obesity is going to assume.
We're in a place now where the woke left are trying to coin everything as either homophobic, racist, or just offensive in some way. I mean, they'll literally take every.
But this is a university.
It's a bit like, would you remember museums were coined as being racist a few months ago?
Oh, I know, by idle
organisation or other. So so obesity must be now removed from our dialect on the basis that obesity and racism are pretty much the same thing.
And this is a university doing this.
This is a university, so you'd think they'd know better, wouldn't you? This is Chicago University in Illinois, United States.
Well, yes. I mean, they do have a lot of... I'm not going to say
Do we worry about the consequence of this on the people that these universities are educating? Because I really
I mean,
do.
I think it's a good litmus test for most, prospective students of these higher institutions of higher education, just not to go there. If I was applying for, because when I was applying for universities, I looked them up and if I saw that, oh yes, the University of Chicago has banned the word obesity because it's racist, well, goodbye.
Yeah, but you think that because you're used to critical thinking. I worry that some 18-year-olds just get led along by the nose by this bullshit.
Yeah, and I think the only people that would probably be for this are obese people themselves. Because, I mean, have you seen the cover of Sports Illustrated?
I'm on it.
That massive individual who is now sexy, apparently.
Who is it?
I don't know. What's it? Yumi? It's not Yummy, it's Yumi. See what I did there? But anyway.
So she's an obese person.
She's very overweight. I wouldn't be surprised if medically she's technically obese. But apparently she's on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and she's like the sexy woman of the month.
Hot dog eating.
I mean, I don't even know. But yeah, apparently Jordan Peterson came out and he said that's not sexy, and now they were like, oh.
And do we think
he's a horrible man for saying that?
And this is probably a question for another debate, another time that we could devote some more time to. But do we think obese people should be role models then? Because I'm not sure I do. Not that there's anything wrong with them per se.
I think it depends
we know the
on
health
what.
impact of being obese is hugely detrimental. So
I mean,
why would
if they're a
we promote
writer or something, if it's not something to do with sort of physical appearance, like Sports Illustrated has on the cover usually has gorgeous models on there that are physically fit. If you're talking about that, then clearly not. But if like an obese person's written a good book, or like Lizzo is a good singer,
or they're Luciano Pavarotti.
Exactly. I wouldn't look at them as saying they're the picture of health, but they're a talented individual that deserves recognition.
They'll be dead by 50. Right, okay, next. New York City schools. New York City schools.
You can't say that.
Don't edit that out, guys. Don't edit that out. New York City. So America again, I'm afraid. I'm afraid, look, the reason I've picked a couple of US ones.
It's the epicenter of this crap.
Yeah, look, it's kind of left-wing Democrat kind of woke heaven, it seems. New York City schools have introduced a book to their school system, right?
Okay.
Which is called What You Don't Know, a story of liberated childhood. Okay, let me go a bit further. So this includes as the central character a gay 6th grader. So that's an 11-year-old, I think.
Paradox, no such thing.
Yeah, who has a conversation with Jesus.
Okay.
And I was just about to say, I shit you not, but maybe I am shitting you. Maybe this is the one I've made up. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. So a gay 6th grader has a conversation with Jesus and says to Jesus, apparently, because you can do that, right? Have conversations with Jesus. Will you hate people if they are anti-LGBT? Says that to Jesus on the basis that I think there's a moral lesson here that we all think, particularly those that are in the LGBT community, that if someone is anti-LGBT, they should be hated. So lo and behold, surprise, surprise, Jesus says, no, wait for it, wait for it. No, even Mitch McConnell deserves love.
This is blasphemy of the highest order. And I mean blasphemy of the highest. First of all, this is like a nonsense paradise, right? Why is this conversation necessary for children? And if you're against the whole LGBT thing, well, it's a political movement now. It's not something to do with sex. Listen, it's 2022. No one gives a crap who you are sleeping with. No one cares. No one actually cares. I think that's, for people, that's more disturbing than actually this whole political movement, realizing no one actually cares about you or who you're shagging or anything like that. So let's put that to one side. The whole LGBT thing is political. It's a political movement. And that's not something that concerns young children. And I'm sorry, asking Jesus if he would hate
Well, I love the way they've
this
interwoven
kid because
here.
they're gay.
Youngsters, gay, religion, and
I'm assuming the person was also black and crippled.
And liberal wokeism. No, I think that's the follow-up book. But actually getting Mitch McConnell in there, they actually
literally
Mitch McConnell, who's basically a kind of right-wing Republican in the US that thinks the LGBT community are evil. So yeah, apparently Jesus says even Mitch McConnell deserves love. So it sounds like a comedy thing, and again, maybe it is. Maybe I've made it up. But on the other hand, it might actually be a real book that has been introduced by the.
That would not surprise me. That would not. I'm so inclined to say that's actually true.
Right, third one. Ready?
Okay, third one.
Labour's Shadow Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, has suggested that migrants and asylum seekers should be now called home seekers. So instead of vilifying them and using words like, illegal immigrants and, dinghy warriors and so on.
Wait, who calls them dinghy warriors?
Well, me, I just made that up.
Oh my God.
So they should be called home seekers rather than illegal immigrants, because that way it softens their plight and their intentions, because they're just trying to find a home, right? So
they left their home.
Well, no, but they're trying to find a new one.
So new illegal home seekers.
Because they realise that, look, the benefit system and the free health and free education are somewhat better here than perhaps Afghanistan, Iraq,
or the war-torn country of France, which clearly most of them are coming from.
Well, look, you can understand why none of them want to live in
France. I want to live in France. I know, war of the baguette. I have to say this story because I think people like Yvette Cooper really annoy me, because I actually know people that have made this journey over the Mediterranean. No one really understands. All the people that are talking about this don't understand the economy, how this like human trafficking and sort of human smuggling economy works. I lived with someone who's made this journey. I grew up with him. I was from the age of 12 to 18. He lived in my house for 6 years. He worked for my family. He was very close. I still have contact with him. And he got on one of these dinghies. He traveled up to Libya, got on one of these dinghies and made the trip across the Mediterranean, ended up in Italy. He almost drowned, right? It's a very, very dangerous trip. And you have to understand that most of the people that make this trip are men, and they're unemployed. It's never women, right? Because they try and come to Europe and then send money back home. and I know people
Well, they'll come here and then bring their families over. So
Exactly.
they're purely economic migrants.
No,
They're not
but
refugees.
you have to look at the profile of these people, and a lot of them are from lower socioeconomic sort of sects of society. A lot of them used to stow away on ships. So before the dinghy sort of thing became
Warrior.
exploded, exactly. They used to stow away on ships, so there were reputations for like, oh, if you stow on a Russian ship, you're going to get sunk because apparently the Russians weren't as kind. But if you stow on a French ship, you'll be fine.
Well, the Russians
right?
have no compassion. Who knew?
I
Who
know,
knew?
but that was the reputation. And growing up, I knew of this, right? It was something that was really widespread. And it's mostly like sort of West and Central African, but mostly West African people that are making these trips. People don't understand the economy and how it really works. People don't understand how a lot of them don't actually end up making the trip. They're actually enslaved in parts of North Africa and the Middle East. They don't really. So Yvette Cooper, as moronic as she is, right? She's actually.
It sounds like you're about to agree with her that we should soften the language around
No!
illegal immigrants, and we should really refer to them, as
they
home
are illegal
seekers.
immigrants, and because I know someone who personally does this, that doesn't mean I don't have compassion for these young unemployed men. But you can't do this; it's illegal. You're risking your life. You're perpetuating an industry, and it's illegal, right? And even the Rwanda trip, right? The Rwanda plot. I thought it was a bit ridiculous because I'm like, isn't it easier just to make sure they don't?
The government apparently have now started repatriating
But
people to Rwanda.
Isn't it easier to just make sure they don't make it to British shores? Like when you see a dinghy,
But
just
that's the whole
get a
point
bow
of
and
Rwanda.
arrow and just.
Of what pierced the dinghy. Well, a bit harsh.
I mean, I'm just saying, like it's just.
You've been hanging out with Mitch McConnell, I think. So.
I know.
What next?
Okay.
So again, that could be made up, right?
Okay.
So Yvette Cooper
I can believe that.
may not have suggested that we should be much more compassionate and welcome home seekers with open
But
arms.
you see what the Church of England have been doing,
the
isn't
shores
it?
of Sussex and so on. Go on, sorry.
You know the Church of England that have been like sort of helping migrants and criminals
the
stay in the UK.
Billionaires that is the Church of England and the
Yeah.
Catholic Church that are probably the one entity in the world, and with the compassion and the money to do so, to help wayward asylum seekers, but do nothing apart from criticise those that don't help them. That church, you mean?
Yeah, that
All
church.
right, okay.
Precisely that one, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, number 4.
Number 4.
This is a good episode.
I
Isn't
know.
it? Oxfordshire County Council.
Okay.
Bless you, Oxfordshire County Council. Is apparently, let me just set the scene, was Conservative controlled for quite some time, up until last year. It's now, I can't think of anything worse than this, it's now a Lib Dem,
Ooh.
Labour and Green coalition, right? So, and as a consequence, it won't surprise you to learn that they have, in the few short months that they've been in administration, have introduced a ban on meat at council meetings. So now, when you go to a council meeting, the platters that are served up at taxpayers' expense, by the way, will all be vegan, basically. So no meat at all. So no ham, no roast beef. It's all kind of vegan vol au vents and hemp salad and sort of fake cheese and stuff like that. So that's the first thing they've done. They're also now advancing a policy of smoke-free areas outside, by the way, across the county. So they want to see big swathes of Oxford that are banned from having any smokers in them at all. So that presumably, if you drive through smoking, or if you're outside a workplace, all of that's going to be banned.
That's okay. What is this obsession with? You can not eat meat if you don't want to. What is this obsession with forcing other people not
imposing
to?
it?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
that's
one of the Lib Dem
one.
members said this is revolutionary and about time. So
why don't they just not eat meat themselves?
But I haven't even finished. There's another one. So they are now also, within all public buildings, they've laid down a motion. I'm not sure if it's actually been voted upon yet, but they'll win it, presumably as a coalition, so they've got more councillors than Conservatives.
Yeah.
A motion to create gender-neutral toilets across all public sector buildings.
Of course.
In Oxford.
Of course.
Yeah. So, and these people have been elected by you, the residents of Oxford, you muppets, to instill and impose these ridiculous left woke policies on the population of Oxfordshire.
You know what?
I suggest this coalition will last, well, until the next election.
Well, definitely. But you know what? One of the reasons why I hate these genderless toilets is because, have you ever been to a men's toilet? It's gross. It is fucking gross. They pee everywhere. Yeah. They don't have, hand cream for when you wash your hands and you want to.
Cream.
Yeah, you want to lotion your hands.
Most don't even have
soap.
It is
heaters. Honestly, it is misogyny. Gender-free toilets are misogyny because they are gross.
Well, maybe the idea is then to raise all toilets up from the low standard of male toilets up to the high standard of what apparently female toilets are.
There is no getting through.
There is no getting through.
I used to live with men. I've lived at some point in my young unfortunate life. I lived with 100 men. Trust me, the smells,
100
the
men?
hair. Trust me, I'll tell you the story. The
100
smells, the
men?
sounds. It's not possible. Okay, we're not meant to live that way. This is why women, we sit daintily on toilets and clean up and moisturize our hands
okay.
afterwards.
Let's not go into too much detail.
Ah,
So, is that a thing? Is it not a thing? We'll find out at the
that's
end.
so crazy.
When Esther, yet again, probably fails to identify which one of these is.
I'm gonna get it right at some
Well,
point.
let's see. Next, Star Trek. You a fan? Are you a Trekkie?
Nope.
Okay, so Star Trek is now woke, according to Fox News.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
apparently.
weird and nerdy.
And there's a number of reasons why Star Trek is now woke. And apparently, this is according to Fox News and one of their presenters in particular, the diversity of the cast. So going back to the 1960s when the show first aired, the diversity of the cast is such that it was woke from day one. Actually, one article writes about this, saying that you had, I think, an Asian person, black person, and women effectively giving orders right back in the early days of the episodes in the 1960s and 70s to white middle-aged men. So that apparently is seen as
fight the power.
The first bit of wokeness. Apparently in recent episodes, and I haven't watched Star Trek for years and years and years. I used to watch it as a kid, so back in the be careful.
When they discovered
back in the
fire.
Early 90s, back in the early 90s. But apparently there's more recent episodes where they actually had people with black and white painted faces, but half black and half white.
Okay.
And apparently...
Are they mixed race?
Yeah. So this is where... No, but no kidding. No, correct.
Really?
So this is where Star Trek apparently... Yeah, let me get to it. Star Trek apparently has taken woke societal positions on a bunch of things, including race. So way back when, so they had people with their faces painted half black, half white. So black on the right-hand side, white on the left-hand side. But then they had another contingent where their faces were painted black on the left and white on the right-hand side. And the whole premise of that episode was that those with black right, white left didn't get on with black left, white right. So in other words, it's a black v white thing, and that was a whole episode, right? So that's another testimony to Star Trek's wokeness. There was apparently an episode about saving whales. Now, I don't want to see whales, harmed, believe me, but a whole Star Trek episode based on saving whales, really?
Don't they eat them in Japan?
Yeah, there was apparently an episode back in the day about arming Vietnam.
Okay. Oh, that went well.
There's another one very recently, it will be very recently given the date that I'm about to throw out there, that commented on the January the 6th riots at the Capitol building.
Okay.
There is also in another episode a non-gender human teenager, and apparently Sulu, who goes right back again to the early episodes, Sulu has now been designated as gay, which he certainly wasn't back in the 60s, 70s.
Help me understand this. Isn't Star Trek, didn't they have like aliens and like, is it Spock? Is that the one with Spock?
Yeah, but you could almost argue, I suppose, that the alien thing was almost about, country to country infighting, tolerance, black versus white. Also about the invasion of other countries, Native Americans and so on. I mean, that's what Fox News are saying, is that this whole Star Trek thing was really all about social commentary, but from a woke left-leaning point of view. But I might just be making all this
What
up.
was the appeal of it in the first place anyway? Was this?
Oh, it was great. It was great.
Really?
Although, when I think about it, back in the early episodes, when it was kind of Captain Kirk and Spock and Scotty and so on, they never actually killed anybody. Anyone of a certain age will remember they used to set their phasers to stun. There you go. That's actually a quote. Set your phasers to stun. Said,
so you don't just... Well, what if the person can't be stunned?
Well, everyone was stunned, whether you're a big monster or whatever. So, but they never actually killed anybody. Again, wokeness. So you were kind of stunned for a little while, ended up being unconscious, and
see, I could never watch that.
That enabled them to get out of...
I could never watch. I love WWE as a kid. I love seeing
so
blood
Star Trek is woke.
Stuff.
Is it, or have I just made that whole thing up? Right, and the
I
next
can do
thing,
that.
the last thing, Fisherman of the Year.
Oh God.
There is such a thing. There is such a thing.
You see, there's so many
Believe it or
inappropriate jokes I could make about Fisherman of the Year,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's not going to go the way I think.
Well, you're going to like this one. So, Fisherman of the Year. So, there is a Fisherman of the Year competition, which has just been won by a lady by the name of Ashley Mullinger. Now, this is a thing in Britain, so she's in this country. But she has rejected it because they've changed it for the first time from Fisherman of the Year to Fisher Person.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it.
Fisher Person
I knew it.
of the Year. So Ashley, God love you, Ashley, has said, no, I don't want it then. She said, because I identify, this is what she said, I identify as a fisherman. I'm a fisherman. That's what I am. I might be a woman, but I'm a fisherman. That's the term. And she said, I
She's
don't want to be a
flipping it on its
fisher
head.
person. I want to be a fisherman. So she's now campaigning, and look,
To change
fair
it
play
back.
to her, to change it back to fisherman of the year.
Why didn't they call it Fisherite? Fisherati?
Fisherati.
Yeah.
Or just fisher.
Fish,
That would be easier, wouldn't
fishish.
it? Fisher of the
Fishish.
year.
Yeah, fishish.
So that's the 6, but that one might be made up. Who knows?
Oh, I can believe that because I think.
Well, should we get on to what you think then? So,
Okay.
do you want to recap?
Okay, yeah, let's
Chicago
recap.
University wants to ban the word obesity because it's racist. New York City school system has introduced a book called What You Don't Know, A Story of Liberated Childhood. Labour Shadow Home Secretary Yvette Cooper has suggested that we should stop denigrating illegal immigrants and asylum seekers, and we should now call them home seekers. Oxfordshire County Council is now a Lib Dem Green Labour coalition, and as a consequence has introduced a whole load of woke nonsense. Star Trek is woke for all the reasons that we just said, and Fisherman of the Year has become Fisher Person of the Year, but might, if Ashley Mullinger's got anything to go to do with it, might actually go back to being Fisherman of the Year.
So you know which one I think is fake? I really hope this is
you're going to
right.
go straight for the fake one,
Straight for the
rather
fake
than
one.
teasing us with the ones you think
No,
are
straight for the
actually
fake
true.
one. But I need to hear you. I need his word on this on camera. I want a Birkin if I get this right.
A Birkin.
A Birkin bag.
But who's going to buy you that?
Well, you, obviously.
Really?
You think taking the mickey out of me is
okay.
free?
You can have a conversation with Mrs. Quirk about that, I'm sure.
Well, she
Maybe
can have one as
you
well.
You can go
How
out
much
shopping.
did you spend on your recent car's wheels?
Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
Okay. Well, I'm
Okay,
just saying.
so what do you think is fake?
The Chicago one. Chicago University.
Chicago University wants to ban the word obesity because it's racist.
Yes.
It is ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's true.
No!
They
My
really
Birkin
do.
would have been blue.
They
No!
really do. They really do. So, yeah, no, you're wrong.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Do I get a prize?
Should we just keep going until you get it?
Okay.
So
Yvette Cooper, that could be fake. The Yvette Cooper one.
Could it? Okay. Any
Because I don't
others?
think Labour is that stupid.
What? Really? Don't you?
Okay.
They
I'd like
elected
to hope
Keir-
they're not
They
that
elected
stupid.
Keir Starmer as leader, for goodness
Well,
sake.
and Corbyn
But I
before
suppose after Corbyn it was
that. Okay,
an
the Yvette
upgrade.
Cooper one fake.
Yes.
Yay! Ha! I
It
got
doesn't
it.
count. No, you
No,
got
I
it
know.
second
I
time.
know. But
So apologies, just in case the lawyers start.
is there a
circling.
second place prize?
No. What? Second place? Second place is nothing. There's definitely no prizes for second place. It's all about winning in life. You're a conservative. Don't you know that?
I'm gonna up it next time from
So-
Birkin.
Should I just stand a disclaimer just in case Yvette Cooper's Labour lawyers start trying to sue us? So Yvette Cooper, I apologise. Of course, you wouldn't say anything so woke, so left, so stupid as to suggest that we should now be calling illegal immigrants home seekers. So Yvette Cooper and the Labour Party have not yet suggested that.
I mean, I don't have that much faith
Have not
in
yet
them. But...
suggested that. So yeah, so all the others are true though. So Oxfordshire County Council,
Oh
mad
my God!
coalition that basically want your daughters to be weeing in the,
The book
presence
is
of adult
real.
men.
The book, the Jesus book.
The Jesus book is real. Yeah, it's really called What You Don't Know, A Story of Liberated Childhood, which includes and features
I'm expecting a trans Muslim
sixth grade
couple next one.
gay kid that talks to Jesus about Mitch McConnell. That should have been
There's
made
no
up.
11-year-old that
That
knows
should
about
have
Mitch
been made up.
McConnell.
Star Trek is woke, but we all knew that, right? Didn't we all just know that? And Fisherman of the Year, yeah, it's true. It has. They have changed it, but hopefully it's going to change back. So that was a good one, wasn't it? I think, even though you didn't get it first time again. Maybe we'll go through like the whole, what we were saying earlier, we need to get to 21 episodes of this stuff so that then it becomes a thing. Wonder if we'll get to all 21 episodes before Esther
This is harassment.
identifies which one. This is racism.
I
I'm having a go
identify
at her 'cause
as
she's black.
harassed.
I'm having a go at her because she's black.
Exactly.
And then what we should do actually is spin this round. So you should come up with some and see if I can. I bet I get it
The
first
thing
time.
is, yeah, it's not fair because he can always tell when I'm lying.
You can't say what I'm lying. can you?
Exactly.
Okay, so that's it for another episode. That was episode 5. I think this is getting better and better. Hopefully you agree, and you'll agree by liking and what else?
Subscribing because, you know, it's polite.
It is. Yeah, it's just not the done thing not to subscribe or to like this genius that is,
Exactly.
believe it or not. So thank you until next time.